everyone, it's another Tuesday and time for another card for us to work on. Today we're going to be working on a card that most people might think is just for Valentine's, but I wanted to show you different ways that we could still use our heart sets and so forth and not have it to be strictly for Valentine. I actually realized that I hadn't done one Valentine card this year. I had so many of them left over from last year that I was just trying to get rid of the ones that I had already made. So today, this is our card. Really cute little card. I like the colors that I used. Love this little bird. I'm not a big bird person, but I just think this one is so cute. So what we're using today is actually coming out of our mini catalog that runs from January to June. You'll find it on page 15. It is called the Lots of Hearts bundle. And this is the stamp set, and here are the dies. And there's a lot of dies. Probably one of my most favorite die sets, just because I like so many of them. And today we're going to be using quite a few of them. There's a lot of pieces to this card. Some of them I've already pre-cut to cut down on the time, but these are all the ones that we're actually using, and I'll kind of go over those as we start cutting. So to start with, in your pack, to start with what we're using. Here's the stamp set. And here we're going to be doing a little bit of a dry embossing with the brick and mortar embossing folder. We're going to be using, for inks, we're going to be using Memento Black, Misty Moonlight, and Magenta Madness. We'll be using a few blends. I happen to have Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness, and Daffodil Delight. And that's really about it. Like I say, there's a lot of pieces to this card. It's not really very difficult. So in our packet, you will have a card base of basic white. I'm using this as a top fold card, which is something I don't do very often, but this is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and we'll fold this in the middle and take our bone folder, give it a really good burnish. You have a piece of Granny Apple Green that measures 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. We have a piece of basic white that I have embossed with that brick folder. This measures 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. We have a scrap of Balmy Blue to cut out our little bird. We have a scrap of Misty Moonlight. We have a 3 by 3 square of basic white to stamp our heart on, and then another small square of basic white to do our greeting. Don't worry about writing down measurements and so forth. Everything will be on my blog at simplylovestampin.com, and you can check all the measurements and the material list out there. So to start with, I think we're going to get our stamping out of the way first. I have the heart and everything on the stamp apparatus so that we can get nice image. This heart is kind of has solid lines in it, so I like to do the stamp apparatus. That way I can ink it up 2 or 3 times if I think I need to. I'll put this up in the corner in our stamp apparatus. Open up our Magenta Madness. Press that down, giving it a little added pressure since this is kind of a solid stamp, and I want to make sure that we get a nice image. And there we go. I don't think we're even going to have to ink that one up twice. Okay, now we'll do our inside. Turn this up. Take our card base. And this is the front. So this would be our inside. Now I have to remember how I set this in here to, oh, I think I did it. So I turned it around. Put it in this way, I believe. Let me make sure. Nope, let's go this way. Sorry, I'm having a little struggle with remembering what direction I did this in. Oh, forget it. Okay, as I say, I don't edit these videos so you get warts and all. I finally figured out how I had this set up so I could get this stamped straight. So we'll take this, we will ink it up again with our Magenta Madness. And we will stamp this right along there. Hopefully I didn't do it upside down. And I didn't. Good. So there's that. So we are done with the Stamparatus. Now we need to do our greeting. And I have a little piece of basic white, and what I'm going to do is stamp the thinking of you right along the edge of this piece, and then I will use my little trimmer to trim it in that way, because I'm not using a framelit or a punch or anything. So we'll just get this done. There we go, even pretty straight. It's not too bad for me. You all survived the cold. It's not very warm out today either, but it's a lot better than it was. And I'll tell you what, we live on a hill, for those of you that don't know, in the middle of 320 acres. There's no houses really around us. And so there's nothing to retain any warmth. And let me tell you, it got pretty doggone chilly up here on this hill. I think we were 24 below. Was that Monday morning? My husband had to go out and feed cattle, which is always not a fun thing when it's that cold out. One good thing is we're not calving, so that helps. I feel sorry for those that are calving. Well, I didn't get that very straight, so I'm going to take my scissors and see if I can straighten it up a little bit. Must have not been holding my down on my trimmer. That's close enough. I could try one more time. I don't really like the way that looks. Let's try it again, see if I can get this a little bit better. As I said, you get my videos, warts and all. I don't have editing software, so I just keep going. And sometimes I'll redo, but sometimes I don't have enough time, or it's like, you know what, you need to see that we all struggle with certain things when it comes to our stamping. So now I'll have two. We can choose the best of the two. So I'll pull this over. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of cutting on our die cutting machine. Again, you know, this is my mini boss that I call it. And as I said, there's quite a bit of die cutting on this this card. So we're going to put this. Here's our little heart. And this is the heart we're going to use. And what this heart does, it actually cuts out two little pieces, but we're only going to use the main piece. So I have a piece of washi tape. We'll kind of line this up. Oops. It kind of moved on me. I can see the white and I don't like that, so we're gonna line it up one more time. There. Okay. There's our heart. Like I said, if you were looking for a little frame, this one also does a little tiny frame. We're not going to be using that. If it weren't half stamped and half not, I could use it for another project. But for right now, we're not going to use that. We're just going to keep this part. And then we're going to take our Moonlight, Misty Moonlight. Put it on our thing. I'm going to flip my deals over just so that it makes it... kind of helps keep them from warping. We're actually going to do two different ones. This is the bigger one for the backing of our kind of gingham-like heart. We'll put that right there. And then this one, which is actually two framelets together. One doesn't really cut out, it just embosses the little circles or cuts out the little circles. And then the other heart cuts out the whole shape. And so I have them put together with some washi tape. Makes it a little bit easier. And then we're going to run that through, make sure I have it on there properly. I'll run that through. And here we are. We have our little heart with the little holes in it. Let me grab something to poke out some of the little things that didn't quite poke out. Most of them did. There's that. And then we have our hearts that's going to back our little gingham. Okay, now the only other thing I think we need to do is do our little bird. So we'll put that down. We'll take our little bird, put him in the middle. And here we are with the little bird. Now you get two pieces with this little bird. You'll actually get three if you wanted to keep the eye. I didn't do that, but you get the body and you get the wing. Isn't that cute? I just think it's so cute. And then the other thing that I used was the little butterfly that's right here. I've already cut that one out. And then I also did the little flowers, and we're going to stamp those in. I just colored them in, and there is a die that cuts those out. And I think I've already got one of those. If not, we'll be stamping one. Okay. So I'm going to put my little bird together so I don't lose his wing. And all you do is you take and put a little bit of glue. Use my silicone mat so that I don't get glue on my sheet. This is going to be a little bit longer video, ladies. I apologize. I don't like to make them so long, but there's just so many little pieces here. And put that wing on there however it looks good to you. And there's our little bird. Okay, now we will take our Granny Apple green piece and our embossed piece and put those down together. I'm going to use liquid glue because we have a very narrow border. And I like to use liquid glue so I can scrunch it around a little bit if I need to. Nice thing about the liquid glue, it does give you a little bit of time to move things around. Okay, then we're going to do build our heart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our gingham heart and put it on the Misty Moonlight. Again, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. Use my silicone sheet. Put that down. Then our other little heart just kind of sets on top of that one. I see a couple of little things I didn't poke out. Okay. And kind of put that on just about like so. Okay. Then we can actually put this on our, you know what, I'm going to put this on our card base first so I don't have to work over the dimensionals and everything. So now this has a pretty good border around it. So for this particular one, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. Try and get an even margin on all four sides. Get it a little bit straight. I don't have that one very straight at the top. Our Stampin' Seal will let you move it for a little while. Once you press it down, it's pretty well stuck, but you do have a little bit of... Okay, that's a little better. Okay, now we will take our heart. We're going to glue this down flat. You can put it wherever you want. If you want it in the center, I chose to put mine down here on the lower right corner. Now let's see, which one of these do I want to use? Maybe I'll... So for the greeting and our little bird, we are going to pop them up on dimensionals, of which I hope I have right here, and I do have a few. So we are going to use the mini dimensionals because we have some pretty small things that we're working on. And I'm going to put a couple on the bird. And about 4 on this strip because it's narrow and pretty long. I want to thank all the ladies who braved the cold on Friday and came out and stamped. We had a nice group and everybody went home with some cards that I thought turned out pretty nicely. They all did a great job. And so it was lots of fun. Wasn't as cold. Thankfully we did it on Friday. It wasn't as cold as the weekend. So we will now take the backings off. And again, you can place this however you want. I chose to kind of like line it up at the side here and go across like that. We'll take our little bird. Let me put my lid on my glue here so I don't totally mess it up. And I just put the little bird kind of right above where it says note. There's a little bit of a space there to make our little bird. Okay, the other thing we need now, I have a little container here where I've got all my little tiny bits and pieces. I have the little butterfly and I have the little hearts that we're going to put on the inside. This happened to be cut out with sticky that has adhesive sheet on the back. Didn't plan that, I just happened to have enough to do that. Okay, so as I said, here is the little flowers that I stamped. I actually stamped them in the Memento Black, and then I colored him in with my Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to put a few dimensionals on the back of that too. Then you can put them on the top, or you can put them on the bottom. I actually stuck them under if I could get them under. Okay, and so there's that. Now for the inside, what I did, I did different things. This took a long time to cut all these out. It's really one long die that you use, and it cuts them out, and you have the solid heart, and then you have the little outlines like I had here. What I'm going to do on this one, just to not take up so much time, is I have a few things already cut out here. Let me see what I got. So I think what we're going to do is just take I'm going to use the pink again. I love this pink. I have one that cuts out a larger heart and a smaller heart. And all I'm going to do is take my glue and just put little dots. You don't need a lot of this green cap glue. Just a little bit goes a long ways. And then I'm just going to place one up here. And then take one of the just single ones. And do the same thing. Just little dots of glue. And stick it down here. Okay. Now for the only other thing we have left to do is put on some bling and do our envelope. So for the envelope, what I did, we have this very long, just all kinds of hearts. And I'm just gonna stamp that and put it along the edge of our ribbon or envelope, just like I did on this one right here, okay? So turn it to the side so I can maybe get it somewhat straight. And we will just put it along that edge. There's that. Close up my bright pink ink again so I don't have it everywhere. Get rid of my little bits and pieces. A lot of times I do this, I'll cut out several and then I have extras if I need them. And the only other thing we need to do is to put some bling on. This is optional, but you know me, I never can do much without having some bling somewhere. So I'm going to put this on this side. Put one up here. You can place them wherever. I just always, as you know, try to make sure I'm doing odd numbers. Just makes much more pleasing for the eye. One thing I will caution you with, whenever you have an animal like this, one time I was attending a class and we did a card and it had a frog. And the lady put her dimensionals right under the frog so it looked like the frog was pooping instead. So I thought, well, make sure I don't put one right here underneath the bird because that would not be so cool. So here's our card that we just made. Here's the card that I made for the sample. And I think it turned out pretty, I just love it. I love the colors. And like I say, this is one of my favorite sets. So don't be surprised if we don't do another one like this. So ladies, I hope you all have a great time, great evening. Maybe have some time to craft this week. I'll try to be back Thursday with another video. Keep in mind that if you're interested in getting any kind of celebration item, that promotion ends on February 28th. So for every $50 you spend, you can pick a free item out of the celebration brochure, but your time is limited on that. So you want to make sure you get that done. And it is while supplies last. So there is a chance that something you want may not be available. So that's it for today, everybody. God bless each and every one of you, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.